Before we get to the mailbag of the day, the next thing I want to talk about in terms of priorities this offseason, because I do think making roster spots should be one of the priorities, whether it's moving on from guys like Farabee in a hockey trade or Ristolainen just to open up space, Lawton to open up space, Couturier to get out from under it, whatever it is, that should be a priority. It seems like, at least what we thought a few weeks ago, priority number one, re-signing Travis Konecny. Should that be priority number one?
Nope. No. You have all year, number one. Like, you don't have to do it this summer. There's nothing that says that you have to. And also, I feel like you gotta, like, you need to see yourself what this summer is for you. Like, Danny Briere has a plan, surely. He doesn't know if any of it's going to happen. And I feel like that should probably inform what you think you're going to do with Travis Konecny. Like, I just don't want to see them do the Travis Sanheim contract. Like, you don't have to do it right now. Like, just take a breath. He's not going anywhere this year. So we don't have to do it. And I think that they're going to. 100% going to do it. And I just think it's a problem. But you had an interesting thought about this pre-show. About like what you would rather do.
There's a lot I would rather do than resign. Like, if they just play this out and like what, the draft is right before July 1st when he's actually eligible. You go to him and be like, hey man, we can get we're looking to make a big draft day trade. Sorry, man, you're part of this. You could do it right then, trade him. After July 1st, like July 4th, when everyone has made their big signings and there's still teams out there that lost out on guys. Okay, Travis Konecny, pretty good player. You might be able to sell him then. There could be injuries in training camp, preseason, early in the season. A contending team loses a good player, and it's like, well, this kind of fucks us. Hey, here's Travis Konecny as a rental for you. You could wait till the deadline when prices are what they are, but you can still get something for him. Yeah. You can trade his rights all the way up till next July 1st. I just don't see the point of like doing it right now, especially like when you said you don't know what this is yet because your plan hasn't played out this summer. I will say we've had this Mitch Marner conversation a few times because he's a hot topic right now.
People be talking about him.
And the Flyers, obviously.
Yeah.
Danny Briere is going to be aggressive. He's got that bias for action we were looking for from Chuck Fletcher. I will never get over that. Like, maybe the most boring dude I've ever encountered. Bias for action.
That's the first thing he told us. What a liar.
If they were going to, say, re-sign Travis Konecny at the $8.5, $9 million mark that we think he's probably going to get, I'd rather trade him for Mitch Marner.
Yeah.
I would rather get better Travis Konecny and just hope, like John Tortorella believes he can turn guys into playoff players. Well, if you can do it with TK, do it with the guy who's better than TK. Like, Mitch Marner in my head is better Travis Konecny.
Oh, yes.
Like, that's what he is. So do that with him. And if it costs you a few million more, but you get a better player, you get a better player. Yeah. I just don't understand, like, why would we do it with him if the other guy's available?
Yeah, and there's an article in Sportsnet yesterday. It's in the flyby if you head on over to broadstreethockey.com. And I thought
this trade proposal.
I always find it interesting. Let me pull it actually up so I don't fuck it up. I always find it interesting when Canadian outlets drop things like this about the Leafs because I feel like they are more tied in, I think, to what people would expect the Leafs to do than like we are down here because everyone is obsessed with the Leafs.
Yeah.
They had an article about 4 trades that the Leafs could make for Mitch Marner. And the Flyers one was, we get Mitch Marner. The Maple Leafs get Scott Lawton, defenseman Mario Ferraro, San Jose's 2024 second round pick. The Sharks get Oliver Bonk. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, that's it. Like that's it. Scott Lawton and Oliver Bonk. Like, unless people, and I'm not sure what like the fans are expecting of Oliver Bonk. And like, I think it's fair to be high on him at this point.
Yeah.
But like, especially with defensemen, like he could just be a guy. Like he could just be like
we have seen that a lot.
Yeah, he could be like a fine 4'5" or something. Could he be a top pair defenseman?
I know he might be really, really good. Like, I'm not ruling out that possibility.
He definitely could be.
He absolutely could be. I'm just saying, if you're looking at the raw points total and going, look at what this guy's doing offensively, it's probably in a role that might not be replicable in the NHL.
Correct.
Now, we do know John Tortorella, one of the ways in which he's progressive is kind of giving his defensemen the green light to be more rovers, guys who aren't necessarily like, you're a defenseman, damn it. Like, no, you're just going to go be a hockey player, go do the hockey. Maybe Oliver Bonk fits in perfectly with that idea. And honestly, it's not like the power play could get any worse. So if you put him at the bumper, maybe he's perfect for it. But it seems at least less than 50% likely he's going to be this sort of offensive force in the NHL.
Yeah. And someone in the comments here said Bonk is untouchable. And to me, that's bonkers because, like, there was a time when there was like oh, that's funny. I didn't even realize that I did that. Look at me.
He's not untouchable.
There was like a conversation ages ago about, like, someone tweeted, I wouldn't trade Phil Myers for William Nylander. Like, this was a thing like years ago when we thought Phil Myers might be a thing. Wouldn't you say, like, I wish we had traded Phil Myers for William Nylander? Like, I'm not saying that was a thing that was going to happen, but like discourse amongst the fans was like, would you trade Phil Myers for William Nylander? And a lot of people were like, no way. No fucking way. You don't trade Phil Myers. Like, you got to take a step back and think, like, I understand that, like, right now, Oliver Bonk is the box. He could be anything. We don't know what he's going to be, and that's very exciting. But Mitch Marner is a boat. So if you could trade the box for the boat, you get the boat. Like, that's the point of the joke. You always take the boat. But I don't know why Toronto would do that trade. Frankly, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. But then I think, like, Toronto,
so they get Scott Lawton in a second round pick.
Fucking crazy. I do think that, like, that organization is looking at what happened and being like, you know who would have helped Scott Lawton? I bet we need a guy like Scott Lawton.
It's almost a shame for, like, the group because, like, yes, they have run out of the benefit of the doubt. And that just is what it is. Like, when you have the same problem over and over again. But, like, this year, it's totally explainable. Like, Nylander didn't play the first 3 games. Austin Matthews missed a bunch of games. Like, okay,
their goaltender got hurt in the elimination
game. Then they lost their goaltender for Game 7. Like, there actually are excuses this year.
Yeah.
But it is their fault that they've run out of the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, yeah,
like,
for sure.
I get why they need to make change. And if I was a Maple Leafs fan, I would be saying, I don't give a fuck. Make a change.
And they finally fired Keefe today. So that was something.
Oh, did they actually fire Keefe? I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. I mean, that is the absolute bare minimum.
Yes, that they have to do. And they're obviously going to trade someone. And it probably is going to be Mitch Marner because it's very clear that he's the guy.
He's the guy.
That everyone is like, fuck this guy. We're tired of his bullshit.
I mean, also, they just signed Nylander to all that money.
Right,
and he did score, 3 goals in the series despite missing time.
And to be fair, like,
Matthews is one of the best players in the league. And Tavares is, like,
I don't think you can trade
he's
him.
at 11.5 with a no move.
Yeah.
He ain't going nowhere.
I feel like, and also, if you're a Leafs fan and you're watching those games, I think it's very clear why you would look at Mitch Marner and be like, you're the asshole here. Like, first of all, you are kind of an asshole. You never shut up.
Yeah.
You called yourself a god out loud to a microphone. Like, what are you doing?
I really think that quote got misconstrued.
Did it?
He said we get treated like gods here. Maple Leafs players are fucking everything to do. Look at
he's
this
not
is a
wrong.
Fire show, and we're talking about the Leafs.
He's not wrong, but you don't fucking say it out loud, Bill.
If you say, "Why do you want to stay here?" Like, because my life is awesome.
Oh yeah,
like, I would agree with that. I mean, do you remember that?
We don't have to talk about
it. Was like that. Like 36 hours or something. It was like a little docuseries the NHL did. And, like, the first one was with Nick Lidstrom, and the second one was with Mike Richards his first year in LA. And he's just like in his beach mansion, walking on the beach with his dog. Like, are you kidding me? You know, like, that's Mitch Marner's life.
I mean, fair.
I am the equivalent of, like, a Hollywood celebrity.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he is, but like,
I guess you don't say it, but I just think he's not calling himself, I am God. Like, I don't think he's saying that.
I think he thinks it though. His dad's been telling him that for a long time.
His dad.
Anyway.
One of the things, did we talk about this? I'm done with parents. I do.
No
like,
more. Yeah.
him
true, no
having
more
a
parents.
dad like that, I'm kind of done with the parents.
If
of
we end
Philly
up with
athletes.
Mitch Marner, his dad is barred from the Wells Fargo
Yeah.
Center. He's barred from the practice facility. Paul cannot come anywhere near the Flyers organization.
Like, if we get a Kachuk, that's one thing.
No, his dad's
Like,
cool.
if we end up drafting, a Ginla's kid, okay. But this is just some guy.
Yeah.
This is just some guy.
No.
But
Anywho.
Anyway, what were we even talking about?
That Mitch Marner's better Travis Konecny. If you're going to sign Travis Konecny to 9, you might as well get Mitch Marner.
If you're going to give him 8.5, 9, why not just like get Mitch Marner? And I'm not even saying you re-sign him right away, but if he's going to be 11, 12, why not do that?
Because he's better.
Yeah, like I don't really see the difference there.
We all silly like the mayor.